What's up everybody, Corey with Freaky Tech Reviews here. 2023 has turned into quite the year for handheld gaming. With the launch of the ROG Ally in June, the Steam Deck hitting full stride this year, and the announcement of the PlayStation Portal that launches in November, we're starting to see a good old-fashioned gaming war that rivals that of the console war between Sega and Nintendo in the early 90s. Now, I don't want to blow things out of proportion just yet, but this is the first time in a long time that we are seeing a new type of gaming cause a battle for who will be crowned King Handheld. One thing interesting that's happening is that the handheld gaming market is looking to increase from $16 billion in 2022 to over $25 billion in 2029. So something crazy is going on right now. Obviously, the Switch has dominated the handheld gaming market with almost 130 million lifetime sales, but I always kind of think of Nintendo as their own thing, especially because these newer handhelds focus on PC gaming and companies that have their own launchers. And while the PlayStation Portal is a handheld gaming device, it doesn't quite have as much freedom as the Windows-based console, so I don't really consider it in the group. But what makes the handheld gaming battle scene even more interesting is that we now have a fourth competitor entering the ring in 2023. With rumors dating back to late July, on September 1st, Lenovo announced their Legion Go, which is a Windows-based gaming handheld device, very similar to the recently released ROG Ally, and will launch in late October or early November of this year. It features an 8.8-inch 2560 by 1600 display with up to 144Hz refresh rate, and is powered by the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor with RDNA3 graphics. It has 16GB of LPDDR5X RAM and up to a 1TB PCIe Gen 4 SSD, and all of that is powered with a 49.2 watt-hour battery. But what really makes the Legion Go interesting is the detachable True Strike controllers on each side of it. I wonder where they got that idea. This is a really interesting function that seems cool, but I expect that it'll be used more of a controller than separate handhelds like you would with Joy-Cons. Where the Legion Go loses to the Switch is that each Joy-Con is also its own standalone controller, allowing an excellent multiplayer on the go feel, and the Legion Go controllers just don't look to have that kind of functionality. But one thing that is awesome that was also on the Legion Go announced trailer is the Legion glasses. These glasses plug directly into the console and give you an AR-based gameplay so that you can have a TV anywhere. And take note that these glasses are augmented reality instead of virtual reality, so instead of being immersed in the world, you'll basically just be in the room that you're in and see a giant screen with the game that you're playing on. Still a very cool thought. But one thing I'm not a fan of the Legion Go is the fact that it does not have its own built-in launcher, it's all just Windows. A big knock that I had on the ROG Ally when it released, and I mentioned in my previous video, was that using a handheld device with Windows Desktop feels very clunky, but it at least comes with Armory Crate so that you can more easily access your recently played games. The Legion Go does not, and while there are rumors that Lenovo is working on a launcher, as of right now, it will just be like playing from a gaming PC, and while I do want to say that I find it a pain navigating Windows from a handheld perspective, hooking the Ally up to a dock so that you can use it like an actual desktop makes it a lot easier to navigate. But I will say a major win that the Legion Go already has going for it is simply the fact that it comes with both a case and a device that holds one of the controllers vertically for what Lenovo calls FPS mode. The hard-sided case is great, I'm glad they include that, but the FPS mode is a little weird to me. If you've been a part of the Freaky Tech family for a while, and if you're not, you should be part of the family by subscribing very quickly, then you'll know that I don't like gimmicky things like this. To me, a gimmick is something that is kind of salesy but isn't actually that great of a feature. It might not have been manufactured correctly, it might break very easily, or just not really make that much sense once you receive it. And because the Legion Go is obviously trying to stand out with the detachable controllers, FPS mode doesn't look like it could possibly be as precise as a mouse, which is what it's made out to be from the launch trailer, and time will tell if it's actually good enough to use that way or not, but because it's such a salesy feature, I'm just not that bought into it personally. Now the Legion Go will have a starting price of $699. That's a very steep price considering that's for the base model 256GB SSD. For perspective, Asus released their fully maxed ROG Ally and they have a cheaper one coming out later this year, but the fully maxed one comes in at $699, so the same price, but has a 512GB SSD. But now that I brought up the Ally again, let's talk through some comparisons, but I will say that we only have base model stats for the Legion Go. We don't know what the fully spec'd versions are going to look like just yet. Both the Ally and the Legion Go feature the Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor and RDNA graphics. However, the Legion Go's base model will not feature the Z1 Extreme, but will have a lesser processor, but both should still be more powerful than the Steam Deck. The Legion Go has 16 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM, while the Ally only has 16 gigs of LPDDR5 5 RAM, and the Go also has a larger screen at 8.8 inches versus the Ally's 7-inch display. The Ally also has a lower refresh rate, resolution, and nits of brightness, as well as a smaller battery. So on paper, the Legion Go looks to win in almost every category, but we won't know about its true performance until it actually comes out. And I'll also be interested to see what kind of issues the Legion Go has when it first comes out, because for instance, the Ally had its own set of problems over the first couple of months with a malfunctioning SD card slot when it gets hot. I've not had that problem personally, but I have seen a lot of reports on people having that issue with their Ally. Overall, it's really tough to say where the Legion Go is going to fit in the handheld gaming market between the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. The prices are obviously just continuing to creep up with each device that hits the market, but nonetheless, it's still very exciting. My last question is, what is Nintendo going to do now that Lenovo is taking the Joy-Con idea and running with it? This is the first challenge to the Switch's design, and while it doesn't take over entirely, I'll be interested to see what Nintendo does next to continue their way of being different. There are even leaks that the Switch 2 will be as powerful as the PlayStation 5 because of the Final Fantasy VII Remake as the launch title, and that would be really insane, and I think that it would keep Nintendo at the tippy top, but they're gonna have to do something because the Switch has been out for a while now. But if you have any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear it in a comment below. What do you think about a notable historical event in gaming that's happening right now? Let me know below. But thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, I hope that you will consider subscribing and joining the Freaky Tech family for more tech and gaming industry news and product reviews. But I really appreciate you spending some time with me. Again, I'm Corey with Freaky Tech Reviews. I'll see you next time.